This is the definitive assault rifle tier list for Battlefield 6. The assault rifles in general are not that great. In most cases I found that the SMGs are better in every conceivable way. Nevertheless, at least the assault cucks running around with their little ladders will find this video useful. With the Season 1 patch they made adjustments to Bloom, which in theory should have been a major change for the assault rifle specifically. Every rank I give a gun will be based on my opinions and experiences while using them. If you disagree with any of my thoughts, feel free to leave a comment and we can have a discussion. Every gun will have the same standard attachments, i.e. a 35 cost grip, an extended barrel and a suppressor. There are 8 assault rifles we need to look at, so let's get started. The M433 is the very first AR you have unlocked at the start of your Battlefield 6 journey. It has the second highest fire rate in the class at 830, a base mag size of 30, and has one of the faster times to kill amongst the ARs at all ranges. By the way, anytime I mention times to kill for these guns, I'm referring to data collected by @SwolGuy. I'll throw a link in the description to his video and data so you can have a look yourself. Hearing these things will make you think this gun is a solid pick. I don't like this gun. Even with the 35 point grip, the gun has way too much recoil and forces you to fire semi-auto to be even remotely usable. And I'm going to show you another AR in this video which is better designed for tap firing. I've seen people saying that the match trigger attachment makes this gun a beast, and I genuinely don't doubt it. But personally, I'm not grinding this gun to rank 31 when I can use literally any other gun in the game and have fun at the same time. I think the M433 is C tier. With a match trigger it would probably be A tier. I do see the vision, but it just takes too long to unlock it. Next up is the B36A4, which is very similar to the M433 in terms of how they play. It's another high fire rate, high recoil assault rifle. The gun has a relatively high bullet velocity at 780, and with the extended barrel you can push this to a juicy 975. There are also options to attach larger magazine sizes up to 45 rounds, which is nice. But when compared to the M433, the B63A4 is essentially weaker in every other parameter, including its time to kill. It has the same option to attach a match trigger, which will probably make it more usable. Honestly though, the rank I'm about to give this gun is purely because of how forgettable it really is. At the end of the day, it's a decent AR, but it does absolutely nothing to set itself apart from its siblings, and for that we are putting the B36A4 in D tier. Now let's move on to the SOR 556 MK2. I'm going to be straight up with you, don't even entertain equipping this gun in your loadout. This gun sucks ass. Every second I held it in my hands was agony. The gun boasts high precision and control at the cost of rate of fire and bullet velocity. The problem here is that its time to kill is fucking atrocious. The amount of 1v1 gunfights I've lost made me literally rage out a few times while I was recording the gameplay you're seeing. I don't even want to talk about this piece of shit any longer than I have to, so let's just throw this bitch into F tier and move on. Trust me, just take my word on this one. I'm a big fan of the AK-4D. Earlier when I was talking about the M433, I mentioned that other ARs are better for semi-auto firing. This is the gun I was talking about. The gun has a base bullet damage of 33, which is higher than the guns we've already looked at. Initially you'll notice this gun has insane recoil, like actual recoil. You can feel the weight of this gun in each shot. With the lowest fire rate in the class at 514 and a low base mag size of 20, this gun was designed to be fired semi-auto, because this is the only way to compensate for its crazy recoil. Once you've learned how to do that, this gun becomes a fucking beast. Because of the higher bullet damage, your time to kill is very decent, but it is actually lower than the M433. This is the first gun we've talked about so far that actually feels unique amongst its siblings. It has character, and that in itself makes it worth using. Turning on semi-auto firing isn't necessary, but regardless you'll have a great time with this beauty. The AK-4D is going into A tier. The TR7 is arguably the best assault rifle in the game, and it's not a coincidence that its characteristics make it more like an SMG than an assault rifle. This gun has a base bullet damage of 33, a high rate of fire at 720, and a low base mag size of 20. Furthermore, its precision and control are trash, which basically means this gun is designed to be used predominantly in close range gunfights. With the lowest time to kills at all ranges out of all the SMGs, the TR7 is absolutely disgusting. It does have a lot of recoil, but you can manage this with a combination of tap firing and slowly moving your mouse or analog stick down while firing. If you want to make it even better, slap a 25 or 30 round mag on this bitch. It kinda reminds me of the KV9 the way it rapidly guns down targets in a 1v1. It takes a while to unlock, but once you have it, make sure you give it a real go. The gun is fun to play with, and unlike some of the other ARs we've discussed, the TR7 is a strong gun through and through, even when compared to some of the better SMGs. The TR7 rightfully belongs in S tier. The Cord 6P67 is another one of those guns that feels truly unique when compared to its siblings. The best way I can describe this gun's vibe is that it feels like an AK-47 in a COD game. It is the only AR with a low bullet damage of 20, but they compensated for this by giving it higher stats overall. The rate of fire at 900 is the highest of all the assault rifles, it has high control and precision stats, the bullet velocity at 760 is respectable, and to top it all off, you have options for larger mag sizes up to a 45 round fast mag. Damn, they juiced the fuck out of this gun. All these parameters have resulted in the Cord having a decent time to kill. At the end of the day though, it's not going to slay like the TR7 does, but it's one of the only ARs we have seen so far where semi-auto firing is not a necessity. So because of how the gun feels to play with, which is very fun by the way, I'm putting it in B tier. It's a solid gun and feels really good when you're fighting multiple enemies at the same time. Alright, now we're going to look at the NVO-228E. This is the last AR we're going to cover with an increased bullet damage of 33. Its rate of fire at 654 is on the lower end, and its base precision and control are amongst the lowest in the class. The gun has a lot of recoil, so again we need to compensate by semi-auto firing and slowly moving the mouse or right analog stick down. I'm honestly not sure why, but this gun's time to kill is absolute dog shit. At close range the high bullet damage makes it okay, but as soon as you start having mid to long range gunfights, this gun becomes trash. You will find yourself losing 1v1 gunfights way more often than you usually do. It's not as bad as the SOR, but ultimately the gun is very basic, there's nothing special about it, and honestly there's nothing else I can even think about commenting on. Let's just throw it in D tier and move on. The L85A3 is the final AR you can unlock in Battlefield 6. It has a mediocre fire rate of 635, the highest base velocity in the class at 814, and also some of the most manageable recoil out of all of the ARs, second only to the Cord. The lack of recoil means you're not constantly fighting the gun to shoot where you want it to, so that's nice. But again, I'm not sure why this gun's time to kill is so horrible. Even worse than the NVO, but not as bad as the SOR. It feels good to use, but 8 out of 10 times if your opponent is using an SMG, you are cooked. If the gun can't win you 1v1s, then it's essentially useless. Just based on its effectiveness, I would rank the L85A3 around D tier, but because it does feel better to use than some of its siblings, I'll be generous and throw it into C tier. There you have it, all the assault rifles in Battlefield 6 ranked. Here is the final tier list. If you want to use an assault rifle, stick to the TR7, AK-4D, M433 or the Cord. Everything else is not really worth using. At the end of the day, I don't think the assault rifles as a whole can actually compete with the SMGs. Even if you're playing the assault class, I think you're still better off using a submachine gun. And the guns at the bottom of this list are straight up some of the worst guns in the game. Alright, let's leave it at that. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe as well. Feel free to comment any feedback. Take care guys, peace.